What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Duran, and we're here to talk more Celtics basketball as the Boston Celtics wrap up this road trip with a 111-94 win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that game got a little spooky. It did. For 3 quarters, it was really tight. And then Boston just took over and clobbered the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's kind of frustrating when you look at this team and they just kind of flip a switch and you're like, why couldn't they just, had this switch on the entire game? But whatever, we come out, we win, we stack 2 wins together against Milwaukee and OKC. And obviously the big story is Rob Williams finally being inserted into the starting lineup. Rob Williams looked good. Rob Williams looked good in the Milwaukee game. He looked fine in the OKC game. And overall, Rob Williams should have been starting this entire time. I mean, it's just pretty obvious. Rob Williams should have been starting for majority of the season. It's kind of coaching malpractice when you look at the impact that Rob Williams has. I mean, just from assist, block, you look at his plus minus from what he does on the boards, what he does to defenses, how he, creates attention and opens up more spacing. He should have been starting over Tice, and it's just obvious. And they look like a much better team. At least the starters do look like a much better unit than prior to the trades and clearing out the deck that we just did. So let's just talk about some things from both games, as we just had back-to-backs, and I didn't really talk about the Milwaukee Bucks game. That was a big win. That was a big win. And the main thing I would say is Rob Williams' defense on Giannis. Giannis didn't want any parts of Rob Williams. That was my biggest takeaway, is we built that wall and Giannis did not want any parts of Rob Williams when I saw that Milwaukee game. That's one thing that stuck out to me. The other thing is the spacing in the offense with the starters. I know that we made a ton of shots, and that goes into, how we won that Milwaukee game is shot making. That was my big thing, is shot making. Everyone wants to say, well, Rob Williams was in the lineup, that's why they won, but really it was shot making. Shot making was the number one factor in why they won that Milwaukee game. And those shots were created by Rob Williams giving great looks, setting great screens. Kemba Walker, I think he'll subscribe to the Rob Williams starting, fan club, because he just looked like a completely different and more comfortable player with Rob Williams on the floor. The screens that Rob was setting, I mean, it's just like Kemba Walker's way more comfortable playing with Rob Williams than he was with Daniel Tice, in my opinion. And that's just crazy, because Daniel Tice is a better shooter. He's a better 3-point shooter. He's a more shooting threat from the top of the key than Rob Williams, but Rob Williams creates more spacing. And I don't really know how to explain that, but yeah, Rob Williams was really good in the Milwaukee game. He was really, really good. He was really good in the second half. Well, he wasn't really good. He was okay in the OKC game. I'll say that. He was okay in the OKC game, because in the first half, he was getting killed by some kid I didn't even know was alive, and almost gave him 20 and 20 in the first half. And the second half, he cleaned it up. He played much better defense on the Brown kid and made way better plays. I think he was a little bit out of control in the first half, just kind of jumping and diving everywhere. And the Brown kid was just like, okay, I'm just going to sit under the rim and wait for everything. And I think the refs started to notice. I don't know who pointed it out to the refs. These refs were bad in the OKC game, by the way, in the first half. Just some, not even the first half, the first 3 quarters, just some really, really bad calls. Like OKC's offense, like a good majority of it was coming from the free throw line. Like they shot 24 free throws in this game. And again, in the OKC game against Boston, like a lot of their offense came from the free throw line. It was very frustrating because the Celtics couldn't string together consecutive stops until the 4th quarter. And that's where, they started calling the 3 seconds on Brown way more, because he was just sitting under the rim and no one was saying anything. And I guess one of the coaches from the Celtics, there's someone out there said the coaches from the Celtics pointed it out to the refs, and they started calling it, and he started getting out of the paint. But yeah, he was just hanging under the rim, and the refs were not calling any of it, which is absolutely insane. But nevertheless, they came out in the 4th quarter, finished the game, OKC. So we get 2 back-to-back wins for Boston. And now we're going back on this homestand. 7 games at home. 1 back-to-back in that stretch. This is the time to turn the season around. This is the time to turn the season around. We're getting everyone back healthy. We're again, only 1 back-to-back game. Kemba Walker will probably miss at most 1 game during the 7-game stretch at home. We have got to turn our season around. Like, we have got to win about 6 of these 7 games at home. Honestly, 6 of these 7 games at home. Like, the one I worry about the most is maybe the Charlotte one and the Philadelphia one. Those are the 2 I'm worried about the most. we've got to win these games. We've got to win these, like most these games at home. We've got to win. We got to start to stack wins and get into the standings. We've got to start separating ourselves from the pack. Okay, this is where the season starts. And then we also got some news earlier today before the game started was Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier was put on the safety and health protocols, and the whole thing. And and that's just really depressing. We don't know the length, but at minimum, I think it's 7 days. And at the worst, if he has COVID, I think it's 14 days. That's 9 games that he will miss. And there's only 27 games left. That's deflating. That's really deflating when you see this team come together. And we just basically traded picks for Evan Fournier for potentially only playing 18 games. But yeah, hopefully it's just contact tracing and he can get back into the lineup. He can make his debut somewhere next week, probably, hopefully. But it's just deflating that we got that news. I was really pumped for Evan Fournier to make his debut in OKC, but I guess we'll have to wait another week, hopefully just another week. And we're getting Romeo Langford back this week, I think we're getting Romeo Langford back. So at least we'll be seeing some new, I won't say new faces, but because he feels like a new face, he played the entire season. Romeo Langford has basically missed the entire season. That is crazy. Like, from when he had his wrist surgery till all the way till now, he has basically missed the entire season. He has been on the health and safety protocol little spiral for close to what? It feels like 20 days now. Like, he's been on it for a very long time. I want to see Romeo Langford. We didn't trade him. I thought we were going to trade Langford and Neesmith and some big deal, but we never did. So let's just see. And yeah, overall, I'm very encouraged by this. I'm very encouraged by how we're playing right now. We look inspired. We look like we have some energy. And now we got the 7-game homestand coming up. I'm so pumped. I'm ready for us to turn our season around. This is where we turn our season around. This is where we start to separate ourselves from the pack and really get into that top 4 of the Eastern Conference standings and start to solidify ourselves as a playoff team. But just you guys let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking about these past 2 wins. I think these are really like momentum building wins. I really like these are momentum building wins. And also I want to talk about, like, I don't want to talk about individuals as we go in this, but Luka Kornet. I told people this in my group chats. I told people this that I know. The Luka Kornet kid that I had searched when we traded for him. I took a huge deep dive into this guy's film. He has a gunner, and he showed it today, and he played pretty decent defense. If Luka Kornet is legit just decent, what is the point of Tristan Thompson on his team? Like, what is the role for Tristan Thompson? Like, what minutes will he have after that? Because you're splitting between, Kornet, Wagner, Tristan Thompson. You're splitting minutes with Grant Williams also, and then Time Lord Rob Williams. So what is the point of Tristan Thompson once he comes back? They should have traded Tristan Thompson, in my opinion. I just don't see the minutes for him. He hasn't played that well this season. I just don't know. I just don't know what do you do with Tristan Thompson when he comes back. It'll be interesting. But as always, guys, I have nothing left for the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.